Sunday, folks. Welcome to another edition of Hockey Playoff Edition. I'm Miguel Mike Medina. This is my partner Avery Jones. Avery, how's your weekend going so far?
It's been going very well, Miguel. We've had some very good hockey in the past few days, and I'm so grateful that you're allowing me here to talk about hockey during the best time of the year, April.
That's right, April, one of the best months when it comes to sports. So, for those of you who are tuning in, we're gonna quickly recap Tampa, Florida series so far. As you may know, Tampa, they live for another day. They won game four after Captain Steven Stamkos. He had a big game, two goals. He's a tremendous playoff performer. Tampa won 6-3. But this been mostly been Florida. Even though the first two games were like the same score, but Florida, they just have been the better team in the first three games. But now they have a chance to close it on game five. Avery, what do you have to say about these Florida Panthers?
I believe it or not, for someone that lives close to where the Panthers play, I actually live between seeing the Lightning and the Panthers in this past year. If you look back to this time last year, the Panthers, when they got that one game against Boston, something changed. And all of a sudden, they had this really great run, even though it didn't result in a Stanley Cup. They still had this drive, they still had this potential. The players still had this drive to not only gift the fans, because the running joke down in Florida is we only have like six Panthers fans, but if you go to any Florida Panthers game, you can tell that the fan base for the Panthers as well as the Lightning is very huge. Just like I mentioned, seeing Seattle, when you have a fan base that is behind your team, it gets you excited. The players get excited. Just look at the past three games. The save by Sergei Bobrovsky like lit them up. Like it lit up the Panthers, it lit up the fans. Granted, granted, the Tampa Bay last night, yesterday afternoon, they want to fight this. I saw this as being a very competitive series. I also saw this being as more of an Eastern Conference Finals series. But there's something about this Florida team, especially in the first two games down in Sunrise, where they really want to showcase that if you want to beat us, you have to beat us. Knowing what the Panthers did this time last year, you really want to beat us. You have to beat us badly. So the running joke is like the Lightning are big brother and the Panthers are little brother. So, the big brother's Lightning, they have these Stanley Cups. Little brother, they want their chance. They were at the Stanley Cup finals last year. They want to go back. They started their season off, pretty decent, but then that fire just lit under them. And now you have this team who won their division and they just want to say, "Hey, it's our time now. It's our time now. We want this. We want this." And it's very surprising that, you know, the Panthers were going for a sweep, but you're right. Captain Steven Stamkos, he came out with the scoring. That first period was just the Lightning showing, hey, if you're going to beat us, you're going to have to come back and beat us. You also have Nikolai Sergachev coming back from that broken leg and kind of giving that extra umph that the Lightning need. However, I think tomorrow night, using the old Mortal Kombat adage of finish him is gonna play true tomorrow night down in Sunrise.
Yeah, Tampa, they set the tone in the first period with those three goals. Florida, I respect them for trying to fight back, but this was all Tampa game four. So game one, Florida won 3-2. Carter and Matthew Kachuk, they scored. Game two, oh my God, game two was the best game of this series. You had the two goaltenders, putting on a show, Sergey and Vasilevsky. Sergey made some unbelievable stops that I would say game two of this series, you had to put them as the Stanley Cup playoffs classic games. That should
Yes,
be a future classic game right there. And
I
the
definitely
and the
agree.
yeah, and the fact that it went to overtime and Florida won at home, that elevated even so much high. This
Yes.
definitely should be a considered classic. And then you have in game three that Florida won 5-3. Sergey made 26 saves. Brandon Montour, Sam Reinhart, Steven Lawrence, they all scored for the Panthers. But man, oof, game two. Game two was I'm still thinking about game two. That was just unbelievable.
You're right. I'm watching game two at work. And you know, sometimes when you're watching like a great game, you already know it's a great game. And already we're talking about this game and we're still just in round one, just looking at the other series that are happening right now. It is that game too for Florida and the Lightning that just has elevated, especially not only Bobrovsky but also Vasilevsky. Like it looked like Florida was going to be in control, especially after that tremendous save. But Vasilevsky, he would wanted to make sure that if you wanted to score off him, you had to literally keep at him in order to do it, which is literally what happened last night. The Lightning just kept getting after Bobrovsky, and what happened? They got them for 6 goals. So it's not only that, but also you look at a lot of your players on the Lightning that you expected them to just go ham. So you expected Stamkos and Kucherov, who is the leading scorer, to just go ham. But then all of a sudden you have the Panthers. Matthew Tkachuk is a menace. If you're a Panthers fan, that's great news. If you're not, then you're like, what is this man? And then also Carter Verhaeghe, he's probably like this underrated diamond in the rough. You know, if you're not paying attention, he just makes things happen. And literally, that's what happened when the game went into overtime and he scored the game winner. But
Mr.
all in
Clutch.
all, literally, he is Mr. Clutch. Literally, he is Mr. Clutch. He is still bringing over all that fire from last year to this year. So don't be surprised if you see, and also the captain for the Panthers, Sasha Barkov, even he'll take penalty minutes for his boys. So, you know, do not count this team out, whether it be the Lightning or the Panthers. Don't think, and also don't think that this matchup wasn't going to be physical. We saw some scrums here or there, game two, game three, especially yesterday. You know, sometimes you need that little extra push, and all of a sudden your team's back in it. But you know, like I said, I'm really gonna go ahead and say that Florida just tomorrow night just goes in. They hit Vasilevsky real hard. They go up early, and then they just let Bobrovsky just take over. But then don't be surprised when you have Kachuk and Barkov and Reinhart and Verhaeghe and basically anybody on that team for the Panthers should just either be the hero or make that one stop or one pass or one steal. And then all of a sudden, you know, the Panthers just waiting for their next victim, if you will.